that being said, I'm going to have Coach Griffith open up just with a general statement on Columbia's first NCAA tournament appearance. And then, like I said, please use the raise hand function and I will call on you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Kyle. Thank you, everybody, for being with us at 11 p.m. on Sunday, March 17th. I mean, it's been a really emotional 24 hours. And, I just want to thank Columbia, thank Kyle, thank the Ivy League for shedding light on our situation, for us to be in this situation. I'm extremely grateful, and, I just can't wait to show everybody why we deserve this bid. So, happy to answer questions and be here. So thank you, everybody, again for making time.
Thank you, Coach. Arden, we're going to start with you.
Thank you. Hey, Coach. First things first, congratulations to you and the team. My question is, what was the immediate reaction to realizing that, okay, Columbia's name was called for this big moment?
I'm in complete shock. It was, I don't think anybody thought, I really didn't believe we had a legitimate chance. And it was shock. I mean, I don't know if you saw the video that was posted, but I mean, it was just like people hugging each other. It was just so much elatement in the room. I think people were just completely overwhelmed by it. So yeah, it's pretty special.
Thank you, Arden.
I also think I just made up a word, but quote me. Go ahead.
Doug Feinberg. Doug, can you hear me? All right, we're going to skip Doug. Jen Hatfield.
Hey, Meg, congratulations, first of all. Does this feel like how 31-year-old newly hired Meg dreamed it up, or in what ways does it feel different than even you conceptualized back in the day when you were making your pitch?
Ooh, I don't think I could have imagined this feeling, especially the way it happened. I think, yes, like if the perfect story, you win the tournament, we're on our home floor, all those. Yeah, I think I had a good idea of what that would feel like. But for it to happen this way, I don't think I don't think I could have pictured this at all. I think obviously we still wish we could have done what we did yesterday, but again, I'm just really grateful that the committee saw that we deserve to be here.
Mitchell.
Yeah, Mitch Northam with USA Today's For the Win. I think you were an assistant coach on the Princeton team the last time the Ivy got two bids back in 2015, 2016. I forget which year exactly. So this is the second time it's happened. And I just, how important is this for the Ivy League and for like mid-major respect, do you think?
Yeah. Hi, Mitch. Yeah, I was my last season actually at Princeton. And, the year before that was our 30-0 season. And, I'm sorry, not the year before. Yes. Yeah, that year before it was. Yeah. And so we got the 11 seed and we ended up drawing West Virginia that year. And it was monumental. I remember at that moment, like us knowing and feeling that and how special that was. And, I think every coach in our league has been fighting to get us back to that place, much like I think other mid-major coaches do in their conferences. And I mean, it means everything to know that the work that we're doing at this level, which I think is really special, being the 7th ranked conference in the nation, is not going unnoticed, because otherwise at some point you're like, what are we doing here? Right. And so, this means a lot. This gives hope to all mid-major great teams and programs that, hey, if you do the things you're supposed to, you will get recognized for it.
Yeah, it feels just kind of like quick follow-up. Gonzaga is hosting this year. Fairfield got a 13 seed. It feels like there is kind of a growing, I guess, respect for, outside of the Power Five in the Big East as parity in this game sort of grows.
Absolutely. And, I think we all do everything we can in our control to put ourselves in these positions, right? I know for us, I touched on this, like scheduling is a beast for us. Gonzaga literally has to pay people to come and play every game there, right? Every home game they want. I remember them talking to us like, hey, will you guys come out $15,000? I'm like, we can't come out this year, but yeah, I'd love to in the future. We got kids we got to take to other places around the world, So, I know it's a battle for a lot of our programs, and to get this representation recognition is massive, like I said. And again, to see the seeds improve is special. Now the top team in our conference is going to continually get that 8 or 9 seed. And hopefully we keep climbing those ranks, and Gonzaga to host. I mean, that's massive. So we just got to keep doing, we got to keep chipping away. And, a lot of these programs, especially in the Ivy League, we have 4-year players. I think that's something that goes unnoticed. We're not a transfer portal team. I have 2 transfers on my team, and one of them plays quite a lot, but we have to build programs over time, which makes this even more gratifying.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mitchell. We're gonna move over to Takashi with the Columbia Daily Spectator.
Yeah, hey, Coach Griffith. First, congratulations. And yeah, just following up on a question I asked you 24 hours ago. I was asking you a lot about the culture of the team and how you and your staff implemented with the players. But kind of what's that feeling like now that you've achieved such a historic feat of the program's first national tournament berth with this type of culture and through this sort of manner?
Well, it gives me hope, and I think hopefully people in this profession, that if you do it the right way, you will, and if you win, you have to win, right? You have to improve, but if you do it the right way and you build the right way, that you can be rewarded in this game. Because sometimes you lose hope for that, right? So I would just say it means everything to know that you can have a body of work, and if you continue to build on that time after time, year after year, and put yourself in a position to be here, it just makes me believe that we did it the right way.
Thank you, Takashi. Rob Brown.
Congratulations, Coach. Well deserved. The speech you had last night, I know Charlie Cream said it was the end of season strength. How much do you think that discussion played in the decision-making process?
Oh, I'm not a speculator, Rob. I can tell you that. I think you know that. I'm pretty realistic. I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, I don't know. I hope it helped, I guess. I mean, I said what I felt. I said the truth that I felt. And if people were listening, I think that's the beauty of our tournament being when it was. We're one of a few tournaments playing on the last weekend before Selection Sunday, is people were watching and listening. So that's the only thing I can say on that. But I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question.
And part of that speech was naming a certain conference. Since you're playing a team from that conference, any thoughts on that being possible blackboard material?
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I mean, we played Vanderbilt last year,
Yeah.
and we had a home with them, and with the pandemic and everything, like it got pretty screwed up in terms of like the years we were supposed to play them back to back, and we wanted to play them again, and maybe this is just fate setting the table for us to do so.
Yeah, and last one for me for now. I remember that game and home opener last year, and I think from what happened with the loss, it was kind of like the team was overlooking them, moving on to Seton Hall and other parts of the schedule. Any talks so far yet with Abby and Kitty and some of the older players about memories of that game?
Not exact talks. This is such a new team. Our team I'm talking about, right? Like I feel like we've referenced things from last year's team to almost not to be like, hey, remember this, but like, this is history and you got to know where you came from to go where you want to go. But they've been talking about it. I haven't really had to bring it up. The minute it happened, they're like, yo, let's go. Like so I know that Abby, Kitty, Nicole, Paige, all those returners, like they're eager. I think it helps to know that this team a little bit.
Cool. Thanks.
Thanks, Rob. Jen Hatfield.
So, you got emotional last night talking about the idea that Abby might not be able to play in an NCAA tournament. And now you're going to get to unleash her on the country in the NCAA tournament. What does it mean to you to have her, to see her in particular get that chance?
I mean, everything. This is I coach because of somebody like Abby, for that impact that you can have on someone's life. And, all the credit goes to her because she has totally bought into the vision we've had here for her and beyond. But I mean, it means everything. It's why you do what you do, like she's going to be in my life for the rest of my life. I know that. And to get to see her on the biggest stage, showing the world what she can do, it makes me so proud because, she deserves everything and, she just does it the right way. And I know a lot of people say that, but like she absolutely does. And I'm just so thrilled that she gets to do it on a national stage.
And just how do you turn the page from what I imagine is a pretty kind of emotional, maybe a little exhausting past 24 hours and prep for Vanderbilt, and how much do you take from your Princeton experience to be able to like know what's next right now?
I mean, there's a reason Princeton is ranked 8th or 9th in the country. I'm sorry. And I think there's a reason why us and Vanderbilt were ranked 12th in the country, right? So, or whatever, they're a little bit higher than us, however you want to look at it. I think Princeton is a really good team. I think they're a really, really good team, and I think we're a really, really good team. So I think playing a team like that, coming off the heels of that, and I think that what our team has shown is after losses, we respond in big ways. So I'm expecting our team, regardless of the time difference between yesterday and Wednesday's game, I expect us to respond in a big way. And you gotta say thank you for that learning lesson, honestly.
Awesome. Thanks. And thanks for doing this at 11 p.m. on a Sunday.
Yep. Thank you, Jen, for being here.
Thank you, Jen, as always. All right, Doug, I think you figured it out, the tech issues. So we're going to move to Doug.
I did. I had to switch to my phone. Megan, I apologize if you already asked this question, but when you first saw your name go up on the screen, what were you feeling?
Well, I was pissed at you, Doug. No, I'm just kidding. Doug's like, yeah, we'll talk tomorrow. But no, I'm just kidding. I mean, shocked. Like I was completely shocked and I don't know. I think it's hard to describe because it was so unexpected, right? It wasn't something that was anticipated. I wasn't prepared for us to show up on the screen. And I really didn't think we had great chances. So yeah, it was just complete shock and joy. I think that was the most joyous moment I've ever shared with a team before. So that was really special.
And obviously making the tournament is unbelievable and great for you guys. Playing Vanderbilt, you obviously played last year. Does that hurt a little bit? They already know Abby and they know you guys a little bit as opposed to a team that may never have seen you before and like doesn't know how good she is already.
No, I mean, yeah, I totally hear where you're coming from, and I think they will be prepared for her. But the way they play, as I'm getting to learn and see, they're different than they were last year, and they play a matchup zone, they switch everything, so that's really hard to do when you have a kid that you want to shut down, right? So I'm curious to see if they are going to change how they do, and obviously I'll unpack them a little bit more as we continue into the wee hours of the night here, but I really do think that they're gonna what's the word I'm looking for? Like they're gonna like actually honor her as a great player. And but we have a lot of great players they don't know anything about. Cecilia Collins, Katie Henderson's really the only kid that played last year on that team. So I think, and we play a very different style than we did last year. So they're gonna have to adjust just as much as we will for them.
And the last one I got is just being a 12 seed and playing the playing game has its perks because it's a potential winnable game against another 12 seed. And if you do win that, then you're already some momentum going into playing Baylor. Is it neat in the sense that you're playing a winnable game as opposed to maybe if you were a 15 seed and a little tougher to win those games since no 15's ever won an NCAA tournament game on the women's side?
Yeah, definitely. I think momentum is huge in this tournament. And, even just watching it, especially for teams like us, is to get your feet wet, to know, hey, like we belong here. And so this other team thinks they do too, but there's not this huge advantage from the outside looking in. I think that gives us a lot of confidence to know, hey, we can do this and and roll on to that next round. But got to take care of business, and we will not take Vanderbilt lightly at all. It's I have a lot of respect for Shay and her staff, and it's a really well-coached team, I know. So yeah, but we'll be ready. We'll be ready for sure.
Thanks, Megan. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Doug.
Thanks, Doug. Let's move over to Heather Chen with The Spectator.
Hi. So yeah, I just want to ask, so tonight, but also in the recent days, the team's been getting a lot of national attention. What does it mean for you, for the team to finally getting that national recognition, not only from the selection committee, but also from the mainstream media and really just growing its national presence?
Yeah. That's what I said I wanted to do, coming back here is I knew I really believed in this place. I always have, but I think it was different. I really came back home to make Columbia a household name. And, I think I'm just grateful that I got that opportunity to be here and do this over time. But, I think I'm players like Abby Shue, whose story is now being shared and told around the country. I think that's what makes this also so special, because it's not just a basketball piece, it's a human interest piece for our team. We have these great people, as do other programs in the country, but I think these are the stories that are meant to be shared in college basketball. It's not just like how good a team is. Of course, that should be talked about, but there's some amazing women in our game, and for them to get this exposure is really special. And I'm grateful that it's happening for us here at Columbia.
And then just one more follow-up, on a slightly different note, but like as students on campus, how can we best support the team in the next few days and also on game day?
I love that. Let's go. We got to get you guys to Blacksburg. I don't know how we're going to do that, but we're going to figure that out. But we got to pack Levian. Please just give our players love when you see them. High five them, congratulate them, tell them that you're with us. I mean, that's the thing we love about playing at home, is that we really feel like our students are with us, right? This community is with us, and we have that sixth player with us. So just let us know that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to be with us. And I think that'll really, really make a difference for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Howard Megdal.
Coach, congratulations. I'd love to kind of get and kind of shade in a couple of things here emotionally. And one is that you were talking about the fact that, and you sounded resigned last night, that you didn't expect it, based on last year, based on everything. So just how did you talk to your team ahead of it? Were you preparing them for how they'd feel? And then just how did you shift that just as a leader, as a messenger?
I'm a realist, and we met at 7 o'clock as a team, and yesterday it's always tough when you lose a game or win a game like that, because there's like press, and then you're like in a holding pattern. It's like, all right, you're in the middle, and then Kyle's like, hey Meg, we got to go. And so you're like having these messages, right after the game, win or lose. I've been on both sides of it, and you never really get to like be together, right? And then without everybody, I'm talking about like you and your team and your staff. And so I felt like we were like a little bit ripped out of that last night, just with the things that we had responsibilities for. But so I wanted to meet and just be like, hey, this is what's happening. Like, this is our reality. We do not know what's going to happen, but we have to be prepared for both scenarios. And I don't want it to be, hey, we're not on the same page going into this selection show. I think that was really critical for me. Is last year I felt like we were so devastated that it kind of tore us apart and took us a little too long to get back together before we played Fairleigh Dickinson in the WNIT. And so this year, my staff and I were just like, hey, we got to get in front of this. And, and then when it happened, it was like, that is also probably why we were so shocked. Cause I think we were all very ready to be in the WBI. So, and I'll just say, like, our players, they handled it really well. They handled it like grown women. And that's all we can ask for, is just to face their reality and make sure that they're ready for the next thing.
And just the other part of it is, this is not just a team you're coaching. This is your place for 21 years now that we're talking about. What does it mean to you? And just if you could reflect a little on being the one who is coaching this team, is taking this step at Columbia.
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, I get emotional. Like today, I was emotional, like a wreck. Like honestly, quite just frankly, like today, woke up and I just, when I had that time to myself, and it wasn't just for the loss. It was like for just how far we've come, and being like, hey, like we can do it. We're right there. Like we just got to keep trusting the process. And for me to think of it like that, I literally said that to myself. How I was like, wow, like this is how long I've been at Columbia. Yeah, I mean, it's what we came to do, and I said I wanted to come here and have championship culture and build a championship program, not a one-off win a championship. And so this is just us showing everybody from a recruiting standpoint, alumni standpoint, a community standpoint, that this is sustained success and we can keep doing this.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. This time I'm going to bring in Matt Panto from the Ivy League.
Meg, heartfelt congratulations from the entire league. We couldn't be happier for you, and what a moment for certainly Columbia and the entire Ivy League basketball community. Your comments have really laid out your emotions throughout. I have one. You've been such an outspoken advocate for Ivy League basketball and the brand of Ivy League basketball, the brand of Columbia basketball. What makes you such a believer and an advocate for a school like that and a league like this?
Yeah. Hey, Matt, good to hear you on this call. I want to thank you. I take a moment to thank you and the league for everything you guys have done over the last however many hours, weeks. I think we learned a lot last year, and I was really happy that, you, Robin, our entire Ivy League team, made this huge push for us. So thank you, first of all. But what makes me believe in the league in Columbia, I think the league, and I said this a little bit earlier, it's a 4-year opportunity, right? That extends beyond your time in a college basketball uniform or walking on campus. It's so rare that players transfer from our programs to go play somewhere else. If they may have a season-ending or career-ending injuries and not play or finish their time, but they stay at their respective schools, the majority, right? I don't have an exact number on that, but I can tell you in my time here, I've had one student athlete like actually transfer to play basketball somewhere else in the 8 years I've been coaching here. And that's extremely rare. And so I think that's what's the beauty of Ivy League basketball is like you're building programs with the same players every year, right? We're not just flipping teams, and that's not really what we're about. I think when we recruit with the intent of these lifetime opportunities, and that's what's special about it. And two, we can play basketball. Like we got some hoopers in our league, and I would say, I'd be remiss to say, like, I think Courtney Banghart started something, back when she got that job at Princeton and just started to elevate our league from a recruiting standpoint. I was, given that opportunity to work for her, amongst other coaches in this league. And, I think you're starting to see, again, other coaches know and believe, hey, I can recruit like that too and bring great players to the league. And then I think with Columbia, I've always believed like New York City is absolutely the best place in the world to grow up, right? And that's what we get to sell is, hey, we're in New York City, we're part of this amazing league, and you get to be coached by an alum, which I'm the only alum coaching in our league, which I think is a cherry on top.
Thanks, Meg. We'll see you in Blacksburg.
Thanks, Matt.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. We do have a few more minutes, so we're going to take a couple second questions. We're going to start with Arden Franklin.
Hey, Coach. Even going back to last year, following the Ivy tournament with the team's appearance, right? You've always been a great advocate of the team and why it deserved to make the tournament. And this year, you did the same thing with the result being what it is. Once again, congratulations. But how do you feel knowing, or soon to be knowing, that it wasn't just something that you and the program said on behalf of yourself? There were a lot of people that happily agreed and willingly was hoping for this moment to happen as well.
I mean, it shows to me like we've been advocating the right way. It hasn't been like empty or, just us trying to advocate for something that wasn't like, we really put together these resumes the past 2 years that are legitimate. And, it's unfortunate that we have to try to play our best basketball in November every year, right? It's like we're scheduling our first, second, third, whatever games. Those were all of the games that we were trying to build our net with this year because we have finals in December and we can't play anybody because they're all in conference after that, right? So in November, we try to schedule heavy and build this resume, which is crazy because that's the beginning of your season, right? You're supposed to be peaking at the end of your season, but no, like we got to go out and play these teams early just to show the world, hey, we can compete at that level. So, I think just to know that people are seeing that and watching our game and not just saying, oh, hey, like, let's check out Columbia's schedule and results later is big. I think, again, Kyle, I think has done a phenomenal job. Kyle Matrician, our SID, like for just getting me prepared for these moments too. And just like with talking points, but that's what it takes a team to make this work. We have a great team here of people that have worked really, really hard to help us get to this point and have shown and brought that community around us with us on that journey. And that's why I think we have so many people advocating for us, because we've done it the right way.
Thank you, Coach. We got time for one more question, so we're gonna go to Rob Brown.
Coach, I mean, last night, tears of sadness, tears of joy tonight. I was wondering if you could talk about the people in the basketball world who reached out to you last night and then this evening.
Yeah, I mean, I always say after losing, you find out who your real friends are. But it's funny, like, I don't even think I didn't even read my text messages last night, right? But the people immediately, the Columbia people here were all fantastic to me. But I have good friends, all throughout the business. But I think the ones that I've worked with were the ones that were the most heartfelt to me, like the assistant I worked with at Princeton, Milena Flores, who is no longer in coaching. That was an important one for me. It was those people more than the people that I don't know or have the best relationships with. And then I would say too, like I have some really great friends at the mid-major level that, again, I've worked with or crossed paths with, and those are the people, I don't want to name anybody because I don't want to leave people out, but I would just say it's been a lot of people that I've crossed paths with and been hard recruiting on the road with. But yeah, today has been a little bit more overwhelming. Yesterday I didn't have as many of those text messages, I can say that.
Thanks, Coach.